Hello boys and girls, welcome back to Dwarf Fortress Lancedbrains. Let's see if we can seal off this third cavern layer in time. So far there shouldn't be too many creatures who can jump up from here two Z levels and hop on the ramp. Would have to be flying creatures, which aren't there, and the orcs. This is not orcs. This is just tree trunks. Yes. But already we see that we are in some sort of a column. This column, this looks like, did I see magma? No, the red thing was just a tree trunk. We are in a column here, which it's like the center column. We could dig to magma through here, I suppose, or we could use this. Yeah. So what if we dig here? And dig around here. Or we couldn't. This staircase leads directly. Actually, I don't like this designation. What are the benefits of digging into all three caverns? Just knowing where you can build and where you cannot build. I think there is nothing worse than when you are trying to dig out a hole and you realize there is a cavern, or maybe we need a hospital, we need a well for the hospital, we need a water tank for the well. Water tank needs space, several Z levels, and I have to find where do I have these Z levels where I can store the water for the hospital. And I will not know until I have found the caverns. It is no problem when you are above, shallow under the surface, but we are not shallow under the surface. We are deep down, and there is caverns. So I don't want to have been digging for 3 months on a waterworks and well project, and then realize, okay, I cannot have this water channel here because there is a cavern and I need to redesign it all just because of finding a cavern too late. So knowing where you can and cannot dig certainly helps. Also, I need to plan. I want to build tracks and minecarts. Also thinking about powered minecarts, but I think that's maybe too much for this fortress at least. But to know exactly where would be a suitable minecart way from the surface down to the magma level really helps, so that you don't have to really have long minecarts all around, but find really a shortest way. So that's the benefits of finding all 3 cavern layers. But now bear with me a little bit. I have this is the staircase, so, and the staircase is just outside of this thing, just outside of it. So if we actually, we could what if we turn back and do what if I turn back here? So suppose we'd come in we'd come in here. Marcon says, I don't like these kind of caverns with all these tiny passages. I'd rather have some big open caverns. Yes, yes. I agree with you. I also prefer to have bigger caverns or deep pits. I like deep pits occasionally. No, not this. Need a channel. Need a channel here. A channel here. Channel here. Channel here. I find the tiny passages can make it easier to block section off if needed. Well, you really need a good sense of space, good spatial sense, or a very good viewer, for a 3D viewer of this to really make out what passages, because there are all sorts of, I mean, it's can be so difficult at times to find a moment. Actually, to find to get a grasp of how this is actually done. So we should be fine. So we have a downward slope. This will eventually be covered, I think. You can make a turn around. And go down here. We'll end up with a ramp here. Make a turn. Go north. Yeah, I think that will be fine. Marcon says, I once played with World Gen and I had a cavern that was 30 sea levels high. Ooh. I think I've had a pit that was that deep. But not as it was a deep pit. Ah, there we go. We've got a early spring. Year 259. Question is, will we see an elven caravan? I doubt it. There we are. This is our nice ramp. Warm stone located. What does it mean, warm stone? Does it mean I think it means we are in the middle of a magma sea. Warm stone located. Let me check what exactly warm stone means. Whether warm stone is above the magma. Must check the wiki again here. So this is important. Yeah. Warm stone is pretty much in the middle of magma. In the middle. It's in the middle of magma. That means when I dig this warm stone, wait a moment. The wiki writes, the safest thing to do is back off several tiles, mine up a Z level, and then approach the location again. Rinse and repeat. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's as bad as I thought. But we are close, guys. We are close. I wonder though, how can this be a warm stone when above it there was nothing? But I say, let's mine around here. And this, look at this. This looks like a suitable place. Excellently, superbly suitable for a water tank for the hospital. Shed Hunter says to Ryan, you mentioned in a previous stream that battle axes were regarded as one of the better weapons. Do you happen to have a link for that? I've been trying to decide the right weapons in my fort for some time now. Yeah, I've heard different things. I mean, battle axes are certainly one of the better weapons, but it's not an answer to all of it. If you want a weapon which best penetrates metal armor, it's spears. If you want a weapon which best slashes and makes bleeding wounds and cuts off arms, slashes and bleeding wounds, it's swords. If you want to chop off limbs with swords or axes, of course, spears can also chop off limbs, but not so easily. But swords can also stab nicely. And maces and hammers. Maces are good for doing blunt damage through armor and mangling beyond recognition, so against zombies and reanimating things. Maces and hammers are good. I can't quite remember what's better. There is a very slight difference between maces and hammers, and I forgot what it was. But there is a recently active thread in the forums which was doing some research on weapons and their usefulness. It's warm stone here. Must be warm stone then. Okay. Well, let's dig it, I'd say. Discovered a magma sea, and look at that adamantine, more adamantine. Oh yeah, baby, here we are. Now that's something. So big. And what's this? Oh. Okay. Oh, look at this adamantine. Lots of adamantine here. Mineable adamantine, that is. Oh boy. I like that. Well then, magma crabs. Yeah, exactly. That's the thread I mentioned. But this guy only tests battle axes, spears, and warhammers rather than swords and things. It's a very valuable research what he does. But I think, yeah, I've read that thread as well. That's the one. That's the latest resource on this. But I'm trying to remember where I read about the spears being best for penetrating armor and stuff. Ryan says swords. How dare you mention swords? We are dwarves. Well, dwarves use swords. Wow, look at this. So let's zoom out a little and get a big picture of this. So we have the third cavern layer. Alright, so up, down, and this is pretty much directly below. So there is not a single Z level between the bottom of the third cavern layer, because this is the bottom of the third cavern layer, and it's not even the bottom. Actually, it is the bottom. Yeah, these are up ramps. Yeah, so this is the bottom of the third cavern layer, and right below it is the big magma sea. Yes, it is. So there is not a single Z level space between. The shape is rather difficult, isn't it? This looks like two adamantine spires. Oh, but this should be pretty much safe to dig. Yeah, we'll need some massive floods to convert it to obsidian and dig this adamantine. But seeing this, so this leads inevitably to the third cavern layer. And this to the big magma sea. Okay. Now tedious digging adamantine. We will not dig adamantine right now. Not until we feel safe. I mean, if I cannot deal with merc husks, why do I even want to deal with the demons and creatures of the underworld hidden in the adamantine spires? We could dig a couple of safe adamantine tiles and maybe craft an adamantine axe or a sword or a spear. Adamantine is excellent for edged weapons. So actually making adamantine axes is not really good. Adamantine swords and adamantine spears. Because axe is, I think it's in the middle between, oh, I have not paused it. Axe is exactly in the middle between edged and blunt weapons, isn't it? Doesn't really have to be sharp to make damage. The worst you can do is something like adamantine bolts and arrows, because adamantine is so light. It's a very, very light metal. And bolts have best damage and penetration if they are heavy, like silver. They don't need to be sharp, they need to be just... Yes, lead. Well, axes need some weight to be swung, yes. Maybe the dwarves will handle them very quickly. If they have an adamantine axe, they will probably have multiple, they will be able to attack with it more often. Question is, well, adamantine axe is probably good for chopping off limbs, but as for penetrating armor, well, adamantine cuts through steel as well, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong to say that adamantine, it's a waste to make adamantine axes. Maybe it isn't. Probably it isn't. But, you know, I don't really know. We can test it. We can make an adamantine axe and see how it's... Yes, exactly what Ryan says. When you think about it, light axe can be swung faster. Yes, yes. Certainly, certainly. It will have a positive effect. And an adamantine axe will probably be much better than a steel axe. But it will be better in another way. It will be better because the number of attacks per turn rises, and it will be better for cutting off limbs, chopping off limbs, rather than, I don't know what the X does otherwise. Like hacking through armor and splitting skulls and stuff. I don't know. Naginal has 30 drinks, has nothing to stop husks, and he's talking and giggling about adamantine. Well, no. Remember, I said I'm not even thinking about it because we can't handle anything as relatively simple as husk, although husks certainly aren't simple. But damn, why aren't we constructing these tiles? Do I need a mason for it? I have a single mason, and that is Dumed, and Dumed is doing what? Dumed is making rock cabinets. Mr. Dumed, please stop it right now. Be a good boy. Go construct those floors. Yeah. Dump. If you can't haul it to the refuse stockpile, then you must dump it. Shed Hunter is reading the article in the forums and wondering, so much weapon science. Yeah. Markon says theoretically a heavy axe with an adamantine edge would be the best. Yes. Some kind of alloy. Or a combination, maybe an like a glove for the axe, or like an attachment to the normal steel axe or silver axe with adamantine edges. I have 30 drinks. I have 8 drinks. We have 8 drinks. But we've got plum helmets, so we can really brew drinks from plants now. Is it active already? Well, guys, if you won't brew drinks, you'll die of thirst. It's your choice. And the choice is yours. So how about the wood? Still haven't hauled in the wood. This guy is still making so many rock crafts, tooth crafts. What's he making all the time? There can't possibly be so much to do with this. I've got still 12 sea otter mangled bones. Are you serious? But there is no you need to no point in doing this. So I wonder how I want to design this. Theoretically, I could happily dig on this level. Maybe I should. William Gregg is here, Nagi rocking a cardigan from the look of things. I love it, yes. Thank you. You can lead a donkey to water, says Samuel, but you can't make him drink. To what sort of... What does it relate to from what we were talking about? Well, we'll get lots of mining designations here. I see it. Does lava have no pressure? Lava has pressure, but lava flow does not have. So unlike water, lava will not rise. If you have this siphon thing where water rises, lava will not. It will stay on the bottom level and will not rise up through pressure. But lava can be pressurized through pumps. People have made lava pumps, pressurizing lava and having something like a lava fountain or a lava cannon, but with lots of effort and something like dozens of lava pumps really generating lots of pressure. The magma or the lava only sprouted or only squirted like 2, 3, maybe 4 tiles high. It was something, considering it's magma, which usually only like spreads over surface rather than having anything like a geyser. But yeah, it was underwhelming, really, considering the amount of pumps and work doing a magma cannon. was not the best. So it can't be weaponized. Just to say, it can't be weaponized, really. I have seen that on. There is this DF Maps archive. You can find it there. There is this map with the Magma cannon saved and viewable. Actually, not really saved as a map, but saved as an animation. But it needs really this Dwarf animation player sort of thing to play. Wood opal. I remember the DF map archive. I used to look through it at school when I was meant to be doing work. Yeah, we all did that. So that's where I found the Magma cannon. It was, of course, in a relatively old version. But I don't think anything has changed with regards to the magma behavior and pressure. So I think we will soon have a nice little room for smelters and forges. Unfortunately, we will not have anything to smelt or forge. If you remember, we don't really have any weapon grade metals. Well, we have silver, but that's not for armor. Can't be used for armor. Well, isn't this enough for now? When digging, Nagidal, do you use the A designation all option if there is a metal vein, and do you set the dig designation to metal ore, and Dwarf will continue. Well, I use df hack and the command to dig vein, this dig v command, and it automatically marks the whole vein if I want to mine the vein. But I find it very dangerous because once you have, for example, if you have discovered the cavern, right, somewhere, and suppose I find a way, I will be here and I find a vein, and it will designate the vein going like from here to someplace unexplored. Then it is very well, it is likely that while digging the vein, they will discover or open another entrance to the cavern, and you will not be notified. The game will not stop because you have already got the message that you discovered this cavern. When you discover new parts of it, you won't get no message, no pause at all. So you will end up with a fortress open to invaders and cavern creatures without noticing. The same is with well, discovering the magma sea, but it's unlikely that you find any metal ores around magma. But it's I opened the adamantine spire accidentally like this once, where I don't know how it exactly happened, but it was similar to what I do now. Maybe I was digging just above the magma level, and I think I either designated it I designated this blinking stone for which you will not get cancellation spam, or I turned it off. You can turn off this pausing when warm stone located or damp stone located. You can cancel the pause feature in the df init file, and I'm not sure whether I did that or not. And I designated larger amounts of stone, and I'm happily playing Dwarf Fortress unpaused, and suddenly get the message that I hear some howling and screams and stuff. Yeah, Fortress was gone then. 50 drinks now, 50 drinks. Ryan says, it's not very useful for what you're doing now, but when you are digging veins and clusters, it can be very helpful and time-saving. Well, with veins I have my reservations, as I told you. Clusters, yeah, possibly. But as I said, I used digv in df hack. I do not have like mine. What is this designation? Designating all. Yes, and what? A? Ah, or gems. Ah, designating or gems, or. Ah, I didn't know this feature. This is interesting. I will try it out. Thank you, Ryan. So let's build our first magma smelter, shall we? We've got three. Yeah, I think we can have this here. And we build. Oh, we need, I forgot that we need magma save material. I'm just opening magma here, and I realized I didn't even look whether granite is magma safe or not. I guess it isn't. Granite, of course, is not magma safe. Well, well, well. What do we need? We need gabbro. We're more likely to find gabbro, yes, than anything else, right? Let me check the stocks. Granite gabbro. We've got 7 gabbro stones whenever we found them. What else? Is gneiss is not magma safe. Dolomite, chromite, chert, calcite, bauxite, basalt. How about shale? Shale is not. Galena would be. Yet we don't have galena. Interesting. So looks like the only magma safe material is gabbro here. Pitch blender is also magma safe. All right. Well, I used pitch blender to build a stupid atom smasher. To be honest, we don't really have too much pitch blender. Oh, we've got 4 pitch blender things, but they are used in building. Gold is not magma safe, obviously. Periclase, autoclase, mica. Good to have mica, but we don't have mica. We don't. Really? Only gabbro. And where is gabbro? Gabbro is up here. Oh, at level 71, boy. All right. Ryan says, if you dig out a large grid to search for ores, you set it to metal gems and highlight the entire Z level, it will only designate the ore, ignoring the stone. Yeah. So how long do you think we can stay open like this? Because it will take some time until we have made some gabbro blocks. I guess I should have a small stockpile of gabbro blocks here. But blocks, I really want blocks because I like to have my buildings made of blocks. Of course, it wouldn't be so hard to gabbro. I must prohibit or forbid gabbro here. Or maybe I even have some gabbro blocks, stone, stocks, blocks, granite. I've got 4 gabbro blocks and they are not used. Oh, lucky. Lucky me. Ryan says, in my experience, you never have as much time as you think you do. Werebeasts come. Werebeasts roam the land. Necromancers, do they? Not yet. Not yet, but we can't stay safe forever, can we? Is this already rotten? It's not rotten yet, so butcher it. Is this silk? Silk web? Yeah, we should have our clothier gather some silk. And I need a hotkey for the magma. So use F5, I guess. Well, yes, that solves the problem. Magma smelter, right? We can build it right here from gabbro blocks. That's it. And while we're at it, well, no, not while we're at it. While we're at it, we should mine. We should mine the thing for the well. This is an excellent place. I've rarely had such a cavern with water source where I was near a column. Usually when I had a water source in the cavern and I wanted to have a water channel down and somehow lead it to a water reservoir or a water tank, I had to pump the water or have long channels around areas which are open to caverns until I found something like this. And look at this, we can let the water in and have here basically already a channel somewhere, and we have plenty of space before we reach the 3rd cavern layer. And even if we reach it, we can have a large body of water prepared here, which would in fact also be good to use for fighting the husks, because the only way I see that we can fight the husks is to drown them in magma and pour water over it to cast them into obsidian. So that will probably be not only the way to deal with the husks, but also to deal with the sieges. Because, to be honest, what I'm most interested in a siege is the iron they bring with them. Iron is magma safe, so iron won't melt in magma. It will remain there once we dig the obsidian. So we should find a way to design a obsidian farming thing. Shed Hunter says, Magma, the dwarven answer to all problems. I've never really used it as that, but I think magma is indeed the answer here, because I can't see a way of fighting these husks until, if I had, I don't know, something like 3 squads or one elite squad of mace men clad in adamantine armor, legendary fighters and armor users and whatever, then I would consider fighting husks. From what I have read, as dangerous as they are, well, maybe I would have tried still. Maybe with the army we had in Dragon Granite, maybe I would try to fight husks. But with 17 dwarves, 3 military guys with maces and leather armor, we can't do that. We can't. So yeah, that's why we need magma. That's why I was so keen to find magma. And look at this, the water here is this is good. This is really good. This is really very, very suitable place. It was a lucky pick. Lucky pick. Of course, rather it's more lucky in the south than in the north, because here we don't have much options. Too many options. This is, however, very good. So let me think for a while. We could, of course, go and lead the water south right from this level. And it probably wouldn't make any difference, because if I decide to lead it from this level, this pool is not very deep. It's actually only, it's very shallow. It's only one level deep. The only place where it's 2 levels deep is over here. This is 2 levels deep, and that's it. It's an extremely shallow pool. How much water can we possibly get out of it? Not much, I think not much. Better it would be if we, let me zoom out a little bit. Yeah, that's it. So we have this pool. Now that's probably the largest water body in cavern layer 2. Cavern layer 3, however, has larger water bodies, I suppose. Yes. This looks rather large, and this looks like it could even be sourced from outside the map. But it's got lots of creatures inside. We don't want that, do we? And it's also too close to the magma. Even if we would get the water from here, there is no way we can make a reservoir without pumping it up. No, it's out of the question. So our only option, pretty much, is this pool over here. So now we have to count how much water can we effectively get out of this. Some water will be lost on the way. The longer we make the channel, the more water we will lose. I say we make the water tank right here. If we make the water tank right here, where will be the hospital then? Huh. Wait a moment. Yeah, it's not only the question about the water tank, it's the question where we will make our hospital. Well, the hospital then should be on this level, right? Should be like one level deep here, yeah. Yeah, I guess we'll do it. So let me plan this. We'll switch to marker only. Ryan is asking, when you make this lava trap, only let enough to reach the goblin legs. I want them to suffer. You are cruel. You are cruel. I want them to suffer too. Yeah, we will play with it if we can. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how we will, how it will work. I've never done that before, and I have some concern about. Well, you know, I've already thought. How do you make them come there? Imagine you have a chamber or a hallway which will be flooded with magma. But if you flood it with magma, they won't go in there. So they will have to be in the corridor. They have to be trapped there so that they can't go out. And then you can flood it. But how do you make them? And it has to be something like a dead end to some extent. Or at least it has to be a corridor where they think they can get into our fortress, so they will path through it. And then suddenly they realize, okay, or a bridge raises and it will be a dead end, and not only a dead end, but they will also be trapped, so they can't get out again. So I will need two raising bridges. Either I will lead it into my fortress and use a raising bridge, which I will then cut off access early enough, and have them trapped somewhere. But this is difficult because there are, if you have invasions and sieges, there are so many enemies that you can only trap little at a time, small numbers at a time. As for husks and these undead creatures, they can be easily this can be easily overcome by putting a bait there. That's why I'm keeping those chickens, because we can place a chicken in a cage, release it from the cage, and they will go after the chicken. They will seek out anything that lives on this map, find a path to it, and try to kill it. So if I place a chicken as a bait in the middle of the area which I intend to flood with magma, the husks and zombies will all path to there. I can even pit some more chickens to keep them there fighting the chickens until every single husk is there. Then I can trap them, and then I can flood it with magma. So that's my intention. But it will not really work for sieges, will it? Because enemies will, well, they will get after your livestock if they are bored, but only if they are bored. Like if they see they have access like 200 tiles away, somewhere deep in the caverns, to one of your chickens, question is whether they would even bother going there, or whether they would stay on top of the surface. I don't know. But it's worth a try. But I think for the sieges, what will work better is like a real path to our fortress, preferably the trading depot. And seeing them come, we will need to cut them off early enough and late enough, so that there's a sweet spot window where we really want to have them, and then flood them when we have them exactly where we want them. Ryan says, a big snaking corridor, big enough to capture every last one, then pour it in form of above and just let it out through the bottom. Yeah, I know. I've thought about that. I think you have shown me a picture of one of your fortresses where you had nice long winding corridor with cleverly placed bridges to control the flow of enemies and the pathing of enemies. If you can please post it again, this picture, this link. That was interesting. I would like to have another look at it. But the amount of magma to flood that would be big. And remember, magma flow is extremely slow. It will take weeks until that is flooded naturally. So what would you rather want is either to pump the magma there, but I can't afford to pump magma if there are husks or anything. I mean, it will kill my dwarves almost certainly. Or pump magma from somewhere where I have it stored. So I need a magma reservoir, I need a magma tank. And if I have that, I imagine the best way would be to have a magma tank above a retracting bridge. So I have a couple of Z levels free, a retracting bridge, and then a big magma tank. The bridge retracts and magma drops down in masses and floods the area very quickly, pretty much instantly. And then above that I would have another such device to drop water on top of it rather than pumping it. So I really would love to use dropping magma to the flooding chamber and dropping water to the flooding chamber rather than pumping it. So that puts great restrictions on the form. It's only limited length of corridors I can use with this, you know. It's oh yes, thank you very much. This was exactly the... Was it exactly the picture I was... Yes, I think it was. Yeah. Yeah, you see, that's the problem with this picture. Can I even share it? Not share it, I mean show it in my... I don't think I can, but I don't know, for whatever reason I cannot share it in my... I cannot stream it in my Chrome browser, but maybe Vivaldi will do. Window capture. No, Vivaldi will not do either. Tough luck. Tough luck. I don't understand this streaming thing. Is anybody of you streaming using the Open Broadcaster software? What's the problem? Why does it not show content of browsers? I think it has something to do with the direct view or something. I could load it up in ASCII and still have the save. Well, what use would it be? I cannot display browser window. I could share a whole screen, of course. But anyway, it's time to take a break here. What's the clock? Like give me like an hour or maybe 2 hours break for lunch and a short nap, and then we will design this water tank. And the question is whether we will design a water tank which will then be used to obsidianize the magma or not. From where we will source that one, I have no idea yet. And I will take a look at what Ryan posted. Thank you for posting it again. I'll see you soon enough, but not too soon. Yeah, I guess 1 or 2 hours later. All right. Have fun, and if you want to catch up with some of the past episodes, now is the opportunity.